Police officers of Reddit, what's something that you automatically consider suspicious behavior? Driving a third-party rental car. That's a rental where the person who rented it isn't present. Pointing a direction when asked where you're coming from. Typically when asking someone where they're coming from, they'll point in a direction while trying to think about a good answer. They're buying time. When speaking to someone, if they're looking around and pulling up their pants, that's a good indication they're thinking about running. My ex-cop teacher said that somebody trying to hide their face when they see him is a big red flag, as well as looking at him too much. So is adjusting their coat, possibly to hide a weapon. If someone keeps looking around and walking around in the same exact place, I'm just waiting for the bus officer. I always wonder whether the person doing the OMG a police officer. Now I feel like I'm under suspicion. So now I'm acting suspiciously. Act cool until they walk past looks shifty or utterly ridiculous to the police officer concerned. I had a super secret method to never getting caught doing illegal things back when I did illegal things. Step 1. See police officer. Step 2. Wave and smile at police officer. Step 3. Continue whatever you were doing. Police officer here. A few things. Loitering in one spot and looking around constantly. Could be a drug deal or someone scoping out a place to break into rob. When someone smashes on the brakes when they see the cruiser and swerve a little. Probably doing something they aren't supposed to. Usually texting and driving. Walking around in parking lots looking into vehicles. Yeah, definitely looking at breaking into vehicles. People who cover their faces or look away when I walk into a building. Sometimes it's someone who has a warrant for their arrest. Sometimes it's just a really shy person or someone legitimately scared of police officers. Someone in my town had their car break down near some apartments. His name is Dummy. A nice cop stopped and offered to jump his car. Dummy accepted but took a backpack out of his car and walked it to a nearby apart, then came back without it. The officer, suspicious, asked him what was in the bag, to which Dummy said, "I didn't want you to see the illegal stuff in that bag." The cop walked to the apartment and asked for the bag, which contained MHC, marijuana, bags, syringes, and tilths. Uncool, the guy said he didn't want the cop to see it. While trying to practice the sobriety test inside the car, I was drunk, and my friend was driving me home. Very late at night, we saw a cop car was following us, and my friend kinda freaked. I told him he was fine, as long as he can stretch his hand out, and bend the elbows and bring your finger to his face and touch his nose. So he immediately proceeded to do it, and boom, got pulled over. My uncle is a cop and says he is more inclined to pull over someone with overly tinted windows than someone without tinted windows. What if the driver is ugly and doesn't want to be seen? I got pulled over for not having insurance. When the cop told me that was what's going on, I just nodded and went, yep. He asked if I knew it was expired and I told him no, but I had just purchased new insurance and I bet something went screwy. He asked if he could search my car. Told me I was way too calm about it. I've gotten pulled over more than once leaving a late night pizza chain with a takeout delivery after midnight. Both times the cop point blank told me he bags drunk drivers doing that multiple times a night and let me on my way since I was just arriving back in town late and looking to do some self-loathing. Can confirm I worked on a pizza restaurant in a college town that closed at 4 AM. They wouldn't even have the common sense to take off their DUI bracelets. Nightclub bans. When they enter a shopper area and immediately look up for security cameras rather than at the aisles. I do that, but only because I think there are people look at us constantly through those cameras and I just wave to say hello or dance. If you have anxiety, you're fricked. I get twitchy anytime I have to deal with people. Both times I've been pulled over, the cops ask why I am so nervous and I get asked to step out of the car. It sucks. My best friend is a cop. We live in the desert and it's usually 100+ degrees out during the summer. He asked me once, "You know who rides bikes outside during the summer?" I said I don't. KN. Crackheads, that's who. He informed me. I have ridden a bike outside during the summer, in 100+ degrees. I'm not a seakhead. Walking around in a circle in front of your house talking on the phone at night. When I was 17, talking on the phone with my then girlfriend, 3 cruisers and 4 cops pulled up outside my house, lights flashing, cops yelling at me to put down what was in my hand. Told them it was a phone and showed them. Just said I'll have to call you back and tossed my phone on the ground. Apparently someone saw a suspicious looking person looking for houses to break into. When they asked where I lived, I just turned around and pointed to the house I was standing in front of. Once they realized I didn't have a criminal record and was, in fact, just talking on the phone, they just told me to go back inside, picked up my phone and said have a good night and went to bed. I don't blame the cops, they just took a call. But as far as people in general go, literally anything can be interpreted as suspicious behavior, so just do whatever. Someone will call the cops on you. Apparently being 12-18 years old and walking around past 6 PM near old people. Trick answer. Old people aren't out and about after 6 PM. They're home in bed. P. Brother's a cop. He told me the biggest giveaway is anytime someone radically changes their behavior the moment they see him. Most people get a little tense around a figure of authority, but it's when someone seems to have a real knee-jerk reaction to just the sight of a cop that they are really making it look like they are doing something wrong. When a person cuts round holes in their newspaper, holds it up and looks at you through them. I always use rectangular shaped holes to avoid suspicion. If you answer, not to my knowledge about having something illegal in your car. One time I answered a cop with well, my sister had the car yesterday, so, meaning it as a good-natured joke. I was lucky that all that was in the trunk was a car jack and jumpers. Work as a dispatcher. When you have a long ass pause when we ask your name, that's suspicious as frick. Other points that let us know something shady is going on. Saying a friend borrowed your car and didn't bring it back, but you somehow can't tell us your friend's actual name, just their first name or nickname. Something is up. 4 out of 5 times you let someone you barely know borrow your car to make a drug deal, and you got chumped. Same deal with letting a female friend spend the night and you wake up and your TV wallet car is gone, but you don't know her name. Usually a H and your dumbass brought her home. Going on a long ass rant about someone who has multiple warrants out for this, that and the other thing, and he just pulled a gun on you, but you can't actually say what the warrants are for, who issued the warrant, what city, what she is wearing or any description of the gun. That's usually an ex who pee you off and you're just trying to get them in trouble. Saying you know someone who's gonna kill themselves, but you don't know their actual physical address, and refuse to give any info yourself. Maybe 75% of the time it's the caller trying to get the other person in trouble, or just trying to use the cops to harass them. Also, and it's crappy, you don't even have to be doing anything wrong. If someone calls the cops on you for any stupid or fake ass reason, they have to respond. People use cops as tools of harassment cause they can dial from blocked or disconnected phones and neither we nor you can do anything about it unless it goes on for extended periods of time against the same person. Groups of teenagers hanging around really late at night. I've gotten pulled over or stopped by cops so many times because we were just hanging out. I was once walking home from work at about 1 AM. Just me. I was maybe 19-20. Not the best neighborhood, but not the worst. I was stopped and questioned as to why I was walking on the sidewalk, not even jaywalking. It's a free country and I don't have a car. When you catch them in a lie, or several, within moments of first contact, if it's one, and perhaps it's due to trying to avoid embarrassment or some social thing, that's fine. But when we have literally exchanged 4 sentences and I've caught you in as many or more lies, that's usually a good sign to start investigating and more focused. Things usually run in pairs or groups, so I usually state the advice of if you must break the law, try to only break one law at a time. One law at a time is my mantra. After all, it's always the other crime you get caught for. 2 people trying to get into a car sitting behind a parked car at an intersection. Looks like the 2 people came out of the front car and are trying to hijack the back car. In reality a dude rear-ended me and locked himself out of his car making sure I was okay, and I got out to help him so he could get me his insurance info. I could tell from the looks we were getting that it was suspicious as all heck. Thankfully someone did call the cops, because they're a lot better at jimmying car doors than I am. I dated a policewoman for a while and she said there's a trick question they ask people who were pulled over. Words to the effect of what's in the car boot. Trunk in freedom speech. Any dead bodies or atomic bombs? If the driver grins or looks oddly at it, chances are there's nothing wrong. If they look nervous, it's worth taking a look. I see this on cops a lot. Quite a few will use the atomic bombs thing. I'd crap myself if the suspect booked it and they found a thermonuclear warhead in the trunk. This question. You figured me out. A car full of nothing but guys always attracts police attention. That and the Bob Marley weed sticker on the bumper. Wearing sunglasses indoors or when there's no sunlight. Uncle was a police officer in the 90s. He used to always tell my cousin to stop wearing sunglasses indoors because not only do you look suspicious, you look like an idiot. But I'm tripping balls and my eyes look like they should be on an alien. Friend who is a cop always says 2 or more grown men sitting in a car after dark with the lights off. There's bound to be drugs involved. I start getting suspicious of myself when a cop looks at me. I was once stopped for walking weirdly across the crossing, so the cops thought I was high. I was sticking my balls dudes, and had nothing on me that day. Wearing a long black leather coat to a strip club in June. Keeping coffee grounds in your warehouse, especially if you're not dealer. Having you thrown through a window for asking too many questions about your friend Michael Tandino's murder. It's hard to tell. Here's some common signs. 1. They have a top hat. 2. The word dastardly in their name. 3. They frequently twiddle their mustache. 4. They carry a round rope. 5. They try to get people to follow them to railroad tracks. If they have 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines and on top of that, they just went into Harry's and ordered 3 T66 turbos with NOS and a Motoc exhaust. I've heard people who suddenly drive too carefully and signal long before they need to while changing lanes while driving, get pulled over more. In one-on-one encounters with someone not in a car, it's side eye contact. They eyeball you at an angle and don't look with their heads. Also, people who drive with the seat back reclined way too far and handwritten tag applied for car tags. Repeating my question before answering it, you're stalling to buy time to lie. You have been visited by the strong skeleton. He wants you to like this video and have a good week. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.